Shoots and Scores Hockey Talk, where we talk everything hockey. I am John.
I'm Chris.
All right, Chris, let's go. Now, the first thing that we should discuss here tonight is we are indeed shorthanded tonight. Mike is away, but the show must go on. Chris and I will forge ahead without our fearless flyer, but don't be worried, fans. Anybody who listens and wants to hear Mike's opinion, he sent me the answers to the questions tonight. And after Chris and I are done talking, I will let you know what Mike thinks. All right. So, Chris, the first topic on today's agenda is the Eastern Conference, and we're going to start with the Hurricanes and the Capitals because I know that is the series that interests you the absolute most.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Carolina's up 3-1, and at times looked dominant in Game 4. Anderson was able to pull out a lawn chair, get some margaritas out while he was in the net and have a few drinks. The shots ended up 36-21 for Carolina, with Thompson being obviously the much busier of the two goaltenders. Chris, is there any way Carolina could lose this series? And maybe only if Anderson gets drunk on those margaritas while he's waiting for a shot?
Yeah, most likely. Well, yeah, the math. I think there's a couple of analytics out there, and they're like showing 8 to 10% chance that Washington could come back and win this. And that's probably good odds in my mind. I've watched every game. I've watched every minute of this series. Even if you're a big time Washington fan, you really believe they can turn it around. You got to ask yourself this question: have they even won a single period? Right, 4 games or 5 games. I'm sorry, 4 games, 3 periods. I can't think of one period you can say, "Oh, Washington had them." Right, Washington, that was their period. They had 3 or 4 minutes here. They had the first 10 minutes of the game 4. That's for sure.
Yes.
Even I was a little worried. I'm like, come on, Carolina, you're not pushing back, and then the floodgates opened up, right? Well, so you can't expect Washington's going to come out and win 3 periods or dominate a game, right? They just haven't shown it, the ability to do so. And I don't see Carolina is always going to work, even if they're not getting the breaks or whatever. They're going to put their hard hats on and they're going to work on that. So I would be very surprised to see Carolina lay down. I know they are going to Washington. Usually in the scenarios, you want to survive that first period, especially if they come out with a lot of energy. But if you can keep it with one goal, if they keep that game with one goal, maybe even 2 goals, Canes will have the ability to come back and finish the series off in 5.
Do you think that this could be the game where Washington really outshoots Carolina? Do you think this is possible? I watched the last game too. And like I said, I really thought Washington at times looked anemic.
Yeah.
Looked like they were sleeping. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah, unfortunately, the experts, or the idiots like to call them, like PK Subban and some other guys, they're pushing this agenda that the Devils didn't play
quantity,
or that too. Yeah, shot quantity and quality, and Washington is just not playing good. They're just not play. They don't look like the team in the regular season. This is the team from the regular season. They just don't play the Carolina Hurricane 82 times, right?
Right.
And the Canes, as they say on the broadcast, they speed you up. They make you try to play faster than you want to play, and that's when the turnovers happen and the forecheck and mistakes occur, right? That's they're playing the long game, right? It is what it is. The Canes just play hard, and they've got a system. Some people think it's just chaotic, and even Brendan Moore came out and said, "No, guys, we have a plan, right? They have a plan when to double team, what parts of the ice to attack, right? They've got that all planned out. They've been doing it for 7 years, right? Not much has changed in 7 years with Brendan Moore there. So,
right. Well, and the answer that Mike sent me to that first question is 4 words. Carolina will not lose. There you go. That's what Mike said.
There you go. I know Mike's probably busy talking to Rick Tocchet, trying to get him to sign that.
Probably
new coach of Philly, right? He's spending all that time there, but I'm glad to see, he's able to give us 4 words.
Well, that's probably double the amount of words I was expecting. So I thought I was just going to get something like a hell no, but we'll go with the Carolina will not lose. Okay. The second topic for tonight is, of course, in the East, the Leafs and the Panthers. Now, The series is now tied two games apiece. Since it's the Leafs playing, and the Toronto media sucks, yeah, I'm going to say it,
Hmm.
there has been some controversy here. We talked about some of that controversy in our previous shows. The Leafs are now at home for game five. Will the Leafs win game five, Chris? Is it time for goalie Bob, the ugly side, to show up once again in Toronto?
Yeah, kind
I
of in the
told you that
NFC.
he would.
Yeah,
And what text did you send me here earlier last week? What did you send me?
on Bob.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Well, your text said it's the Bob that you were looking for, or
Oh
something. The
yes,
ugly
yeah.
Bob has showed up.
Oh, I said, yeah. I wish we saw that Bob a couple of years
R-
ago. We played the Florida.
right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That
what do you
Bob
think,
didn't show up
Chris?
2 years ago. No. No. He
No,
showed
he
up in
did
the
not.
first two games.
No.
Yeah. Well, I said I've got the Leafs winning this series, but this is a must-win. Right? It's Game 5. You're at home. Um, I, I know there's the big topic is Matthews, right? Not scoring goals. Almost similar to Hellebuck, right? With the Jets, he's the guy, and if he's going, they're going. And even though Toronto's got more scoring talent, Matthews is a lightning rod, right? If he's not producing, that's the big talk in the town, right? What's going on with Matthews, so on and so forth. Um, Tonight's game could be one of his legacy games, right? To show up and show out and show that he can play in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm still on the Leafs bandwagon for this series, and it will help if the bad Bob shows up too. That will definitely help the Leafs.
Right. Well, I think it's time for the bad Bob to show up once again. He seems to not play as well in Toronto recently, so I'm going to go with that. And I also believe that Matthews is injured somehow. I don't believe he's 100%. I don't think he's anywhere near it.
Yeah, although yeah, he missed some time during the regular season, and I think they said he would not be 100%. Don't know what the
That's right.
actual injury is, but it's probably something that they can't fix or heal until the season's done. So
Right. And I think it's going to be a close one tonight, and the Leafs are going to squeak out a win because, of course, I'm a Leafs fan, so why wouldn't I think that?
that's right. But what does
Now,
Mike think, Whitey?
oh, well, Mike has, what do we got here? One, two, three, four, five, six. Six words and one number. Panthers will win the next two games.
Ooh,
Now, I think that the Leafs are going to win the next two games. So Mike and I are in total, opposite side here. But that's where I'm going. I'm not the expert. You guys are. So, I'm just a play at home guy here, doesn't know anything. But we are going to go on to the third topic tonight. And we're going to head out west, of course. Now, Chris, the Jets and the Dallas Stars, this series, besides the Leafs, of course, fascinates me a great deal. The series is 3-1 now for Dallas. The Jets are having one hell of a time on the road this playoffs. It's just unreal. Now, during the regular season, the Jets were fine on the road. They would win at home. They won plenty of games on the road. What the hell is the problem with the Jets? What's going on?
I know in one of the games I was watching, they showed the stat. I believe the Jets, not 100% sure. I can't remember if they lost the last seven, and of course the last game would have been 8 in a row on the road, or nine in
Right.
a row. I can't remember which one it is. With Hellebuck in nets, right? 8 straight losses on the road. But what also concerned me, and yes, Hellebuck, we've talked about it before in the last few shows
Yes.
about how important he is to the team. The other thing I noticed, they were showing the scores of all those games, and for goals score for the Jets, you were seeing 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 2. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in those 8 road games.
That's correct. Yeah.
So you can't lay it all on the feet on Hellebuck. Yes, maybe give some goals early. The team got distraught over it, but the team itself didn't come out or give him a chance to maybe steal a game in a high scoring game too. So, um, but they just don't look the same as they do in Winnipeg, and I can understand a little bit because Carolina over the years has been usually lights out at home until they play a team that beats them and they lose their games at home. But they've struggled on the road, especially in New York. So frustrating watching them go there and play well, and all of a sudden 3 4 minutes, bam bam. And the same thing happened a few years ago in Boston. They're playing
Right.
well on the road, things are going their way. Third period hits, bam, power play, goal, goal, lose. Right. So, um, it's hard. It's hard to play in NHL, right? It's hard to win games come playoff time, especially when the road and the fans are against you, and when momentum swings, it's hard to get it going the other direction. So, but yeah, the Jets. It's not looking good for them with Dallas. And Mikko Hiskinen is back
Yeah, I
for
saw
the
that.
last game.
Yes. Finally,
Uh,
after
the,
what? How many weeks?
uh,
Months?
2 months, three
Two
months.
months?
Now the Jets did outshoot them, and Michael Granlund scoring a hat trick is definitely one of those outliers because the guy does not shoot the puck at all.
No.
I was shocked when I saw a hat trick. I saw him score the first goal, and then this morning, like, what? Mika Granlund? That's an outlier. The Jets did play better, but they still took the loss, and now they're heading home, and we'll see if they can play well at home and force a game six or not.
Do you think that the Jets will lose at home to Dallas in Game 5? What do you think?
That's a good question. I I, I would say the Jets are going to win Game 5. Yeah, I think they're going
I
to win
tend
Game
to
5.
agree with you. I think the Jets are going to win Game 5.
Yeah,
And as far as Hellebuck goes, he is definitely not the only reason why the Jets are losing. Like you said, the scoring. And I forget which prognosticator it was on TSN I was watching this morning, but he was claiming that all these players are shooting high glove side on Hellebuck and scoring goals. And like, anyways, he had some stats here. I believe it was 46% of the goals are on the high glove side, and in the regular season it was like 28% or something like that. So it's quite. I have no idea if any of that means anything. It was just a fluke. I know in the NHL, you don't always have a lot of time to shoot where the hell you want to shoot. So I mean, you
correct.
can say
Yeah.
that, but it was interesting. It was a different point of view looking at it. The Jets are just not scoring. They're just not scoring enough goals.
No, they're definitely on
So,
the road. I think visually, though, in Hellebuck and the glove side, if that was the case, you'd be giving up goals in the regular season more than the playoffs because, again,
well,
you
yeah,
got
I
less
agree.
time to pick your spots. Uh, but Hellebuck looks small for a guy that large and come playoff time. There are some times when we're like, why aren't you taking up more of the
Well, I
net?
found that he was backing his net a ways too
And
sometimes,
backing up,
but
usually when goalies are not confident, they
well,
go back in the net.
it's so much about confidence with a goalie. Like Hellebuck wasn't just the best goalie in the regular season, then all of a sudden he's a bad goalie,
Yeah.
in 2 weeks. I mean, that's just not the way that it works. So anyway, we'll leave that there. Oh, well, what about Mike? What did
What
Mike
about
say
Mike
about all
says?
this? Right, I almost forgot about the fearless flyer. He's got more words for this one. It says
Hmm.
experience getting past the first round in the playoffs is an issue for the Jets. Yeah, I mean maybe. I mean it is tougher as the rounds go on. It gets tougher. I mean it's possible.
But
So
I think going back to maybe a month ago when we talked about the regular season, how the Jets and Washington were kind of overachieving
yes, you were talking
goal
about that with your
scoring
analytics. Yeah,
and goaltending, and they were slipping into the outscoring but getting outshot type of category or outchanced.
right.
And yeah, I think both teams it's starting to catch up as they're playing better teams that their game isn't sustainable, right? And it's
That's
starting to show.
fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, we're going to go on to our fourth topic, and I didn't tell you this, Chris, earlier. And I know that you're not able to stay up probably and watch these games, but I know that you watch the highlight packages and you get whatever information you can. But we have to talk about this a little bit more in depthly because I promised one of our famous fans that we would go over this a little bit deeper. All right. So the fourth topic is, of course, the Vegas Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. Now, the Oilers are up 3-1, and the goalie switching seems to keep on working for the Oilers. Unreal. In game 4, the Oilers changed every line and defensive pairing, okay, in game 4, and they won 3-0 against the Knights. I don't know if they threw the Knights off their rocker, if the Knights knew what the heck was going on. I'm going to start out here, Chris. Is
Mhm.
Knobloch just out coaching Bruce Cassidy? Like, did he switch things up so much that Cassidy, like, oh my goodness, I don't know what the hell to do. This is a disaster. Are the Oilers destined to make it back to the Stanley Cup final? I know that I'm skipping a beat with that second part of the question, but
Yeah,
handle the first part first, and then we'll
yeah.
just lead on from there.
First one, no, 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 I don't think so.
No?
I did
Okay.
watch the first period of that game, and the Vegas Golden Knights did not seem like they were focused on winning a hockey game, especially Aiden Hill and those guys. Um, yeah, they just weren't a focused team to win. They seemed more trying to be combative, and I know in that first play, Hill stuck out his skate to
Yes.
create that contact. Right, that is so obvious.
And
Yeah,
he
it
was
just
freaking.
and yeah. No, Vegas just mentally is not in it, and I'm assuming they're going to be done. Yeah, that's one where I can see Oilers winning in Los Angeles Game 5. Um, and all the changes, yeah, I don't think that led in a factor. I think Vegas just had a different mindset. The players are thinking about themselves versus the team. Are the Oilers destined to make it to the Cup final? Well, you know what? I'm going to say this: the Kings should have beat them. They didn't. Those Vegas teams should have beat them. They're not. And I think for this series, it's been the role players, the third line, the fourth line guys. They're producing, right?
They
Drysdale and
are.
McDavid have not listened it up. Like we said, those guys can't win if they got to score 4 points a game. They're not scoring 4 points a game, but um, who scored 2 goals last game?
Well, Kane scored
Henrik,
and
Henrik.
Brown scored and
Yeah, Adam Henrique had two
oh
goals.
yeah, Henrique,
Corey
yes.
Perry the game before had two. It's like this is what you need when you go on a cup run. You need everybody contributing, right? And it goes back to even the Canes. The Canes, um, 13 different people had points or 14 in the last game.
Right.
You got to have everyone going. And luckily, I'm going to say, luckily, the Oilers role players and defensemen are doing a good enough job. But I'm not going to say Skinner's back after that shutout. I'm not going to say that. I could see him give up 6 goals and get pulled next game. That is very possible too, right? So let's not go crazy here. The Skinner's, him. Um, but yeah, if odds makers, analytics, they all said, yeah, Kings, Vegas, if they play Dallas in the next round, Dallas is going to be the favorite again, right? It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter if Oiler fans believe, oh, we got McDavid. They're not going to be favorites. If they can get past Dallas, then yes, I'm picking the Oilers and win the Stanley Cup, and I don't care who they're playing because I'm going to go on vibes. I'm not going to go on the numbers. It's going to be all vibes, no cap. Oilers win the cup. Simple as that. I don't care if Carolina's there. I'm going to say I want Carolina to win, but they're not going to win because of vibes. Simple as that.
Oh, Jovis, that's a pretty good take on things there, Chris. I'm quite impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you what I think because I think the Oilers are going to win this series against Vegas. I didn't think they had a chance against the Kings. I did not. They were down 2-0, and they looked dead in the water, and I mean dead in the water. And McDavid and Draisaitl come out and said, "Nope, sorry, you're just not going to win. Too bad, LA." And poof, and it was over before you knew what happened. And like you said, this series has been a little bit different. The role players have come out and they are scoring, and I really like Corey Perry's play. By the way, I think he plays well. I like the guy. I liked him a long time ago. I still like him. I think he's viable, and I think he's a decent enough player still that he provides some offense and some grit along the way too. And their defense has been good enough, and the goalie switching, whether guys are injured or pulled or what the hell's going on, they have big games and weird times. It's just unbelievable, but they managed to do it. So to me, and I don't believe in destiny either. So I do not. So I'm a firm believer, to not agree with destiny. I don't know if they beat Dallas or not, but they can. I don't know if they're going to, but they certainly can, and I wouldn't bet against them. So if you held the gun to my head and wanted me to bet, I would not bet against the Oilers. So I would probably take them as much as I can't see how they would beat Dallas. Like you said, you just can't bet against the winning side right now. Doesn't matter what the analytics say. Doesn't matter what the vibes are. You got to go with the winning squad. It just seems like they're destined to get there. So, and Henrique scoring 2 goals. When's the last time he scored 2 goals in a game? I should have looked it up. I bet it's been a while. So, all right. Well, let's go on to our hockey profit segment, Chris, where
Okay.
tonight
not plural.
You are the hockey prophet. And I've got my timer here ready. So, Chris, I've got some good ones for you. Are you ready for the hockey prophet
Oh, did
segment?
Mike have any?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Before we go
Yeah.
on, Mike said it looks like the Oilers will win despite their goaltending, but Dallas will be even tougher next round.
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in the animal spirits, Mike. I don't understand, but
Yeah.
that's okay. That's what he says. So, Chris, are you ready for the hockey
Yes.
prophet segment? Okay, number one, Chris. Are the big guns going to score for the Leafs in game five?
They have to. They have to if they want any success. They have to show up in this game.
All right, I agree. I agree. Number two, who is the better Oilers goaltender, Picard or Skinner?
Jean-Luc Picard, I would take
Jean-Luc
him. Yeah,
Picard.
is that the third option? I'll take Jean-Luc Picard.
You're going to take Jean-Luc Picard over
Yeah,
Pickard and Skinner.
yeah.
All right, fine. That's good. Number three, are the refs against Carolina by calling two minor penalties and a two-man advantage against with 8 minutes left in the third period?
No, no. The Orlov's put him 5-on-3. That was just a dumb play, and he knew it. So there's not much you can do about that one. No, no, no issues there with other than Jordan Stahl's phantom high stick that never
Yes,
happened.
I saw it. Yeah.
That was probably the only one that really irked me in this series.
Okay. All right. Number four, is Tom Wilson the best agitator in the playoffs this year?
Against Montreal, yeah, 100% got in their heads.
He
Against
did.
Carolina, not so much. Like
It
uh,
started out that way a little in the
he
first game.
in the first two games, he was actually he dove and intercepted passes and blocked a bunch of shots in those first two games. He was really kept them in those games at home.
Right.
Games 3 and 4,
Where
uh,
was he? Ghost.
game three was a ghost. Game
Yeah,
three was a ghost.
ghost.
Games four, last game he did had a couple of good defensive plays. He got in the zone for a couple of times, and then he started those shoving and pushing, and the wah 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 wah. But it's Jordan Stahl is who he's butting heads with mostly, and Jordan Stahl is just like whatever, dude. Like he's not getting into it, right? He's just yeah. So yeah, Montreal he definitely did against us. No, not so much.
All right.
I
I
should say
agree with
us
that.
against the Canes. I'm not on the team.
That's okay. You can pretend you are. And finally, number five, Chris, and I'm sure you'll be glad when this is all over with. Have you changed your mind about Brett Burns?
Canes Twitter hasn't. Um,
I thought he's been quite effective. Now, I haven't
he
watched
is.
every minute of
He
every
is.
game.
Like you can't teach 6'6", 230, lean on you, stick. Like their penalty killing is so good because you've got Burns and Slavin and Jordan Stahl. 6'4", 6'4", 6'6". Think how much ice they take, especially with their long sticks, right? Maximum length
Yep,
sticks. They do such a great job. Burns Burns has lost a step, undeniable.
of course.
Um, he's not as quick, and sometimes with the puck, he kind of makes some decisions, especially in the defensive end. And I think that's where people get irked a little bit. But he still does so much good that you're never taking him out. Even though Kane's Twitter, they all believe Nikishkin should come in and Burns is out. And I've said Burns is not coming out. Brendan Moore is never going to sit Burns. Not going to happen. If anybody comes out, it'll be Orlov, right? If they ever
Right,
make that play. But I don't even see that happening. Brendan Moore will go down the ship with his veterans and his players. Um, I, Brett Burns has actually played a little bit better than the regular season because he was making more of these mistakes.
right,
He has tightened up a little bit more come playoff time, but there's still a few hiccups there. And maybe when we run into that team that we can't beat, he's probably going to be. They're going to probably place blame on him, which they should not, because we still wouldn't get here without Brett Burns. Even though Slavin is the guy, Burns is out there with him too, and those guys together, they're a problem for any offensive first line team, right?
right. Yeah,
Look
that's
at
what I've
Ovechkin.
seen.
Ovechkin's got a power play goal and went off Slave. Other than that, what's he done?
Nothing.
Right? Those guys
Well,
have done a great
he
job.
he's hit some people. He is doing hitting. At least he's doing something, but he's not
Yeah.
scoring goals.
Well,
So,
yeah. No.
All right. Okay. So I think we'll leave our that was about 3.5 minutes. That's pretty good, Chris. That's pretty good. Now we're not going to be back next week. Now both of my hockey prophets here, Chris and Mike, are away. Like Mike will still be away. We'll be back the week after, and we're going to discuss the conference finals at that point because I believe we'll be somewhere in the middle of them. Now Chris here, I believe, is going to give us some predictions on what he knows right now for the conference finals before we go tonight. So, Chris, why don't you go over what do you think's going to happen? I know this is kind of a shot in the dark because you still don't know yet what the hell is going to happen, but what do you think's going to happen?
So in the West, of course, the expectations is going to be Dallas and Edmonton, and I'll be putting my name on Dallas in 6.
Really? That's not the way you were talking.
No. If they get past Dallas, then like I said, then I'm taking the Oilers to
Okay.
win the Stanley Cup, right?
Okay. All right.
Purely on vibes, nothing
Okay.
else.
So
But
Dallas in 6. Okay.
for the next series, I still got to go where the numbers go and the players go. I think there's potential. It's weird. There's two different people reported on Ekholm. One of them was day to day. Another one said still weeks away.
Oof.
We don't.
Wow.
So we don't know who's telling the truth. We don't know where he's at. Right. If he's able to make it back against the Stars, that's going to be a big lift for them for sure.
Yes.
If he's not able to come back, Dallas in 6. Right. That's the way it should go.
He'll be able to eat a lot of minutes too that they greatly need to have done for them. So
yes, 100%, and protect the Jean-Luc Picard back there in net. In the East, well, it looked like Carolina. We still don't know about the Leafs and Panthers. I'm going to go with Carolina no matter which team makes it out.
Okay, fair enough.
It'll probably be 6 or 7 also. I'll go. See, with the Leafs have home ice, but we'll have home ice against the Panthers. So I'll also say 6 for both series, depending which teams come in. But I'll go with Canes with 6. Because, and to go back to what I said before, Tampa was the team. If Tampa was sitting there, I'd be saying Tampa's beating Carolina. But with Tampa out of the picture, I believe, again, for the Panthers, it's revenge. I think Carolina wants revenge from 2 years ago. And then from the Leafs, well, we'll see if we can slow down that offense. I feel like our defense and goaltending is probably a little bit better.
The Leafs don't usually play well against Carolina.
And Carolina's beating the Leafs a lot in Toronto and at home. Yeah.
But I believe the last game they played, didn't Toronto win the last game that they played? I know it's regular season.
Meaningless regular season game.
Yeah, well, I agree. It is pretty meaningless. But I was just trying to throw a caveat out there for my, keep myself feeling better, right? Because I need to feel better about myself.
The Carolina Hurricanes beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto with the emergency backup goaltender. Never forget that.
Oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't remember any of that. Okay, Chris. Now, we've gone over quite a bit here tonight. Was there anything else you wanted to say about this playoff situation that's going on? Or anything else, I guess?
Well, we got 3 series that are 3-1. They seemed like pretty much in the bag on all 3 of them. We've got one exciting one, which is still we don't know what's going to happen. I know they're playing right now. I haven't checked to see what's going on, not for the first period, but
right. I haven't either.
This one is probably going to be the exciting one. I think the other ones could all end up being done in 5. The Jets, I think, should push it to 6.
Yeah. Hopefully, I think the Jets are going to win. I think the Jets will win. The next game. Okay.
And who knows? Maybe one of these will go 7. Maybe someone's going to push it to 7. Right. So 1 in 10 chance one of these series can get to game 7.
Right. Right.
Unless the Oilers dry up, but Vegas just that game 4. Wasn't pretty disappointed at what they were focusing on in that game.
And he just went nuts. Like I saw, and I was like, what the heck's he doing? Why is he not concentrating on the game? Is there any chance that they play their backup?
Samsonov?
Yeah.
Probably not. If Thompson was there, yes. If Thompson was still there.
Oops.
Oops.
Maybe a bit of a boo-boo.
Yeah, Thompson seems like he's totally opposite. He's more just laid back and nonchalant, right? And Hill's, yeah,
I mean, they got in their heads or something. He was just freaking. But anyway, whatever. Yeah. I bet he's a little more calm there next game. We'll see what happens. So, all right. Well, like, share, and subscribe, folks, and let us know where we went wrong, because I'm sure we said something wrong somewhere along the way. And we will see you in 2 weeks, right? 2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Okay. Later, folks.
Later.